And welcome to Bengals Week, Week 14. And before we jump into this game, we have a breakout player message that we need to see what it is. And I'm really hoping that it's Graves. It is not, but it is another defensive lineman. He wants to keep an eye on Wanham. Now, Wanham, personally, I don't think has had a great season. He hasn't had a sack for a while. He finally had one last week, which is, I think, why we're seeing this. He is in a contract season, so getting a dev boost could definitely sway if we decide to keep him or go ahead and let him hit free agency. So let's see if he could get this done in this game. He needs 2 sacks, tackles for a loss, fumble or forced fumbles or interceptions. Most likely it would just be tackles for a loss or sacks. So key there, or hold them to 75 rushing yards and 1 touchdown or less. So we'll see if they're able to get the job done. If Wanham could get that boost, I think that would maybe give him a star, maybe superstar. Welcome back to U.S. Bank Stadium, where your Minnesota Vikings are set to face off against the Cincinnati Bengals. And in this universe, the Bengals have not been to that Super Bowl that they came just shy of winning against the Rams. So Joe Burrow, not a Super Bowl visiting quarterback in this universe, but honestly, not playing too awful. I would take these stats over our quarterback Saunders' stats, but it's just what it is. The defense takes the field today, and as we saw prior to the game, Wanham needs 2 sacks or tackles for loss to get a dev boost, or we have to hold the rushing game for the Cincinnati Bengals to 75 yards or less, plus a rushing touchdown or less. So no 2 rushing touchdowns and nothing over 75 yards for them, as they get the reception for a first down on that second down play. We're coming out here with our nickel form as they have 2 receivers set to each side. And most of the big names still here for the Bengals. And for us, we still have Alex Brooks as the second starting linebacker, with Eric Hendricks still out. Will probably be out for another game or 2. Almost get the sack there. Gonna fall incomplete. And that brings up a 3rd and 4. We're going to make an adjustment here. And I did not want to bring the double blitz. However, it doesn't quite matter. Pass falls incomplete as it was thrown too far to the outside for any receiver to make a play on it. They're going to go ahead and punt the ball away. We have Nwangwu set back here. Decent blocking, nothing fantastic. Breaks a couple tacklers there. We're going to start off at the 25, so not bad. And as we see here, Saunders' stats not good. Completion percentage just over 50%. Has more interceptions than touchdowns. Not looking great for a long future here as a Viking. He has time to change that. Second half of the season is only maybe halfway through, so about 3/4 of the way through the season. If he could start putting together some better games, we'll start to gain a little bit of favor for us. Dalvin Cook came back last week after having a ruptured disc earlier in the season, so his second game back. Had a pretty good game last week, and we've kind of decided that we're going to give the ball mostly to the running backs. Good play there made by Jefferson. Gets the one-hand snag on that 28-yard reception. Was an iffy throw that we chose to do there. It was not an iffy throw, but a risky throw, as the corner there, if he had a little bit more speed, could have came back, knocked it away, maybe even picked it off. But we luckily have the separation, and a really good play there as well. I did not want to send him in motion. I wanted to send Ham in motion to that side, but that's fine. Kind of does okay. We get a gain of maybe 3-ish on that run. And as we've seen the past couple weeks here, we're going to have Mund come out here not necessarily to be a passer, but more of a runner. However, they have a quarterback spy going here, so that play kind of null and void. Unfortunately, don't have any of the read options in this playbook, because that would be a great way to utilize Mund, but we don't have those, so I'm just going to have to make do with what we have. Saunders going to scramble for it and fumble. He had the first down easy, but just doesn't hold on to it. Maybe he was down. I'm not quite sure. We don't get it on the replay there, but as it stands right now, that is another fumble and a turnover for Saunders. And there's no booth review, so it's going to go down as another turnover for the second-year quarterback. Kind of, not in terms of the stats, but just in terms of the letdown a little bit. Kind of seeming a little bit kind of like a Carson Wentz situation here, where we've seen plenty of potential from him, but also a bit of a letdown here and there. Brooks not able to get the corner. Stiff arm there on Ward, but the other Ward gets the tackle. But no, we're heading close to the end of this season. We are still the number 1 seed in the NFC, so good news there as we get the tackle there from Eric Wilson. But as we saw with the Seattle game where we had the scouting special, we're constantly thinking about what we're going to do in this upcoming draft. We had a bit of a plan going DB early, as we need 2 new starting safeties, as the current safeties we have, they're just on the older side. They've played decently well for us, but you always like to be ahead of the curve rather than behind it. So I would love to go safety early on, maybe corner, but now that we have this issue with Saunders that he's mostly regressed this year in terms of play, starts to maybe make you wonder if we need to go after a quarterback maybe in the first round. We are going to force a field goal attempt here. McPherson out, and that's going wide left. Not as accurate here as he is in real life. And luckily for Saunders, that turnover does not come back to bite him, as we see Jesse Bates as the safety on Jefferson's side. So we're going to just check to a run, or more or less go with the run. I would consider checking the last play to a pass, try to hit Jefferson deep, but with Jesse Bates over the top, thought it was a safer option to go with a run as Dalvin gets close to the first down, and they mark him as having the first down, and they say he's not tired, so looks like we have good advantage on the outside. I don't get the block I was looking for with Ham, but Cooks does well. Gains 7 yards, and we head into the second quarter with this game tied 0-0. We're on a bit of this play action here. We have Thielen open. Touchdown, Vikings, for your receiving leader of this season, Thielen. And if we could choose a perfect offense to run, that last drive was it. Main thing being the running game. Use the play action fake to open up the passing team, and it works as we get a sack there from Danielle Hunter. Ball's on the ground. Boyd comes back to pick it up. Gonna be an even bigger loss. Danielle Hunter gets the sack, fumble, and Dantzler gets the tackle for a loss. That backs them up quite a lot. Gonna bring up a 2nd and 22. They come out with 3 receivers to the right. We check to a blitz, try to see if we could force any more pressure on them, and they get a short dump off to their tight end. I think that said it was Tanya, the former Packer. So we didn't beat the Packers earlier in the season, and if we beat them here, at least have a little bit of revenge on them, with the former player, as Mixon just goes out of bounds, doesn't even try. And that'll force a punt here on 4th and 12. So a great stand there from the defense. And Wongwu set back to return here. He'll be catching it about the, I think that was the 35. Going to get to the 49, close to midfield. Pretty good field position for us. And it looks like the offense figured out a little bit of what we like to do on that last drive. See if that'll continue here to this drive. as we get a completion here to Chark. Tries to get back to the outside, but unfortunately, flag is out, and that's going to be holding. That's going to be on Christian Darrisaw, his second game in a row with a holding penalty that's going to back up a really good play. Unfortunately, can't see if we have the advantage on the outside there with Chark. He has the speed. He has some separation. We'll take the flag. And that was a Awuzie who dipped into the pocket there and pulled out the pass interference rather than giving up a touchdown. I'll try to just check down here to Cook, avoid the sack, gain a few. Now we've been pretty pass heavy so far on this drive. Let's change it back up, go back to the run. Go for a run to the outside, get good blocking. Nice move there from Dalvin. Ends up maybe a yard, half a yard short of the first. Come out here on the ham formation, and unfortunately I hit A too soon, so we're just going to run a halfback dive. Big hit there by a 43. That is Bobby Wags. Cannot believe that Seattle released Bobby Wagner. That was a huge shock. IRL. He's been off the Seahawks for, I think, 2 years. He might have been in the game last year, actually. But yeah, no, crazy real life that they released Bobby Wagner. He was one of my favorite players on the Seahawks. Always been a Wagner fan. So we're going to roll out here. We end up not really stepping down. So we'll run it with Saunders, get out of bounds, avoid that dreaded fumble. I would have loved to dump it over the top to Flanagan, but the cover guy never really stepped down. So we'll go right down the middle. Ham not able to get into the end zone, but does give us a first down. And we're going to come out here in the jumbo set. And I call it the jumbo set because we bring Thurston in at fullback. Ham is the running back, and we check down to Thurston, who's into the end zone. I believe his second touchdown on the season. And as I had mentioned in the previous episode, this will be Ham's last season with the Vikings. So I want to get Thurston out there a little bit, and giving him a touchdown is a great way to help get his experience up a bit before that change happens, as Graves almost gets another sack. That would have been 5 games in a row with a sack from our young rookie defensive tackle. That's honestly the reason we drafted him, to provide a pass rush on the interior, and he's doing that for us in this second half of the season. They do get the quick pass there to Tanyan as they get the first down, and it kind of threw me off the coverage. Brooks tries to get back there in time. We don't get a good enough hit to knock it loose, and the Bengals are now down to the 40. And so far in this game, Wanham, he needs the 2 tackles for a loss or sacks without getting the kind of cheaty rushing yards way of getting the dev boost. But so far, we really haven't seen much of anything from him, either in the run game or the pass game. So if he wants to see that dev boost, he's going to need to kind of get going a bit here. They get the check down to Mixon, and he gets another first, and they call their second timeout. Bengals heating up here late in the second quarter. 55 seconds left, and they're at the 11. Quick pass, not able to break that up. That's going to be a completion to the 4. And now there is not a whole lot of space between them and the end zone, which can work a bit in favor of the Vikings as they get the pass breakup. I believe that was Joyner. Nice job getting that break up. Otherwise, that would have been a completion to Tanyan. Play a bit of cover 2, and a nice play ran there by Boyd. Gets them wide open and into the end zone for the first time this game. The Vikings offense takes the field with 24 seconds left before the end of the first half. And we're going to run a jet sweep with Ty Spence, one of our undrafted rookie receivers. He has some speed, but not enough speed there. Get a gain of about 4 or 5, and we'll call a timeout. We would love to get into field goal range here. Going to make an adjustment here. Send Jefferson deep. Run a bit of play action. They only have 1 deep safety, and we're going to go for the underneath guy. Bad choice. They had the middle of the field wide open, but instead Saunders throws it to the left side. Instead of just having his receiver stop in the middle of the wide open field, he throws it right to the corner Hilton, who gets the pick. And now the Bengals are in field goal range, or just about in field goal range. We did see him miss one earlier. As a great opportunity there from Fuller to try to pick that pass off, but he at least knocks it down. They bring out the field goal team, McPherson, for his second attempt on the day. And that's looking like it could go down the middle with enough distance, and it does. They got the field goal instead of us, bringing this game a little bit closer as we head into halftime 14-10. And as we look at the board here, already 2 turnovers on the day, both of them from Saunders. One fumble, one interception. Besides that, fairly similar. Bears and Saints currently going on right now. Bears up 21-10 with about 17 seconds left in that first half. Colts and Steelers. Another similar score game, 21-10 at halftime. Steelers 2-10 on the season with Brooks as their quarterback. And Lions versus the football team. Big win for the football team, 45-14. The Lions, 2 bad games in a row, and Josh Rosen, the quarterback for the football team, led them big, 45 points. Now, what we would like to see is our quarterback lead us to a big game like that instead of big turnovers all the time. So we'll start the second half here with the ball. And Wangru throwing a little bit of power there as he runs through a guy. And we'll start at the 29. And to start this drive, we're going back to the running game. Anytime that Saunders throws one pick, you could quickly assume that another one is coming. So we're going to switch it out. I did not mean to check into that rollout. I wanted an outside run. There we go. Yeah, anytime he throws one, his confidence goes down the drain. So why did you spin? If you just had the juke to the outside, hit the gas, you were gone, my dude. Either way, first down, big run from Cook, who's now over 500 yards on the season. And we'll bring Munn back out here for a little bit of that play action quarterback run situation that we like to use him for. Basically, kind of what I work with him is set up the pass, wait 2 seconds. If nothing's like wide open, I just run with him. It seems to be the best way to use Munn and his speed. It's also a good way of getting Saunders off the field, not because of play all the time, although we have had to do that, but because his stamina just gets so bad so quickly. We hand the ball off here to Cordero for a gain of 7, and they come out with a double A-gap blitz. So let's instead set up some deep routes here. And we did not get a block there from Cordero. And Hendrickson gets the sack. Going to bring up a 3rd and 14. I had stepped towards Cordero hoping that he would get the block, but nothing there. Instead, we have a 3rd and long. As really, again, not much there. We're going to step forward. Saunders slides down, bringing up a 4th and short-ish, 4th and medium. And very rarely do we run this play twice in one game, but we'll try it again. See if we could get Ty Spence with his speed to the outside on a 4th down. They all go to the right side. Bad play for them. We get the first down a little bit more before Jesse Bates brings us down. And following that 4th down conversion, I would love to hit Thielen here, but it's going to depend entirely on the coverage. We're just going to dump this off here for Lucas. Uses what speed he has to gain about 5-6 yards. Lucas is definitely not a fast tight end, but he's a pretty good run blocker. He could catch the ball too, but it's just getting the yards after the catch that is what he struggles with. 3rd and 1. Looks like the Bengals defensive line knows what we like to do, but we're going to do it anyway. Right down the middle with Ham. He's going to power forward for a gain of 3-4 yards. And once again, let's try to hit a play action here. See if we can get any of these guys to bite. We have a guy open. Jefferson in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota Vikings. Going to help us widen this lead as we try to widen our lead in total. And the Bengals take the field. They're needing to score as the game is getting close. We're only 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Obviously, it's still a whole fourth quarter, but only, I think we're on 7 or 8 minute quarters, so they go by pretty quickly. And as soon as we get that ball back, you know that we're going to go ahead and start melting this clock as much as we can. They're still passing quite a bit in this game, and we have not seen still a tackle for a loss or a sack from Wanham. We also haven't seen a sack for Graves, but he doesn't need it for a dev boost, although I would love a dev boost for him, but he would need it to continue his streak as they get a nice run. Mixon finds the gap and gets about 6-7 yards. Now, about 30-ish seconds left in this third quarter, probably maybe a play or two left before we hit the fourth, and we get a nice block shed there from Daniil. Gets the tackle in the backfield for a loss of 2. And on 3rd and 6, we'll come out in the double A gap, but we're going to run some cover 2, try to sneak underneath a little dump-off pass here. And nope, but we do get the sack with Hunter, 2 on the game. And on 4th and 12 to start the fourth quarter, the Bengals are going to go for it. This would be great field position for us if we were able to force the incompletion. Which we do. Boyd ends up dropping it. Technically, Wanham is celebrating because we've kept him under the 75 rushing yards, but it feels a little cheaty to give him a boost for him not really doing much. And like I said, when we get that ball back, I'm going to start chewing that clock, and that is what we are doing. I'm going to continue running the ball, have the chew clock mode on, maybe get back to the line of scrimmage on that run. Refs are going to be pretty nice to us. They're going to say that we gained a yard. Not too sure how much that's true, but we definitely gained some yards there on the handoff to hand. That brings up a 3rd and 4. I would have ran it, but they overloaded that right-hand side, so we're going to run a bit of play action here and go right for our tight end, Flanagan, who catches it down to about the 14. Now we'll come out with our 2 running back form here. We got Nwangwu and Patterson in the backfield. Going to hand it off to Nwangwu down the middle, who's going to stay up. He's showing a bit of power on the later end of this season, really showing that he's a well-rounded back. He gets a gain of 7 on that first down carry. We'll come back, run the opposite way. Patterson down the middle, gets 3-ish yards, maybe a little bit more. They actually say a little less. They give us a 3rd and inches, which is fine. Let us drain the clock a little bit. Don't really have time to check the play here. I would have liked to run with Patterson as Nwangwu was a little bit tired, but he gets the first down. Now dip under 3 minutes here as we are at the 3-yard line. Going to go with Cook down the middle, has a gap, fights through some guys, and he's in standing up. No one's able to bring him down. Going to have a sip of tea and walk off this field, putting the Vikings up 28-10. And now the Bengals have even less time and even more points that they need to get to try to at least tie this game up, as they're going to continue passing. That's what they've done basically all game. Haven't really ran much. As you see, 20 passes there for Burrow, and I think maybe 5 or less rushes for Mixon. A lot of his play in this game has been in the passing game on dump-offs. Very similar to what they did there with Boyd. And now inside the 2-minute warning. Time really closing in here on the Bengals. Not that they have a whole lot of a chance here. They go for the screen play and get some great blocking, and Alex Brooks ends up bringing Mixon down after a first down is gained. They're going to basically just use Mixon in the passing game. You get a completion under the middle there, close to another first down. They're going to call it a second and one. That's what it, obviously not a first and one. Be able to break that pass up. Brings up a 3rd and 1 this time. So I was kind of right last time when I just said everything and 1. Nice press coverage there from Denzel Ward. Helps force the incompletion and now brings up a 4th and game here for the Bengals. They are going to pass it, and they go right back to a different Ward on the coverage, and that's going to be a touchdown. Jamar Chase all the way to the house. Jimmy Ward just not able to keep up with him. His speed not there. And of course, we will watch the onside kick here. We got DJ Chark, who typically this is where they kick it. He lets it go by. Cordero Patterson picks it up one-handed, spins around, and gets tackled by the Cincinnati Bengals. But we keep possession. Got the ball at the 45. They have 3 timeouts left. We have a little over a minute left in this game. All we need to wrap this game up is just 1 first down. That's all we need. So we're going to hand the ball off, go right down the middle, follow our blocks. Going to bring up about a 2nd and 1. With this game all but a wrap, let's hand the ball off to Thurston, see what he can do on this 2nd and 2 down the middle. Fights through a couple guys, gets about a gain of 4 or 5. Unfortunately, Dalton Smith comes up a little shaken up on that play. Fortunately for us, doesn't look too serious. He just heads over to the sideline, starts doing some stretches with his shoulders. Bring in rookie Perry as I think it was Clayton that comes in as our number 2 across the entire line. Hand the ball off to Thurston, get a gain of a couple, and another timeout by the Cincinnati Bengals. Now brings it down to only 1 timeout left. 2nd and 8, we hand the ball off to Ham. He goes forward for a little bit. That'll be their last timeout. This game is all but a wrap. With it being 3rd and 6 with 58 seconds left, we will go ahead and run it rather than take a knee. Try to get the first down, and Nwangwu does a great job of doing just that. Gets the first down, and we'll knee this game out in a victorious fashion. And just like that, we are back on a winning streak following our loss to the Packers. We beat the Lions in good fashion. We beat the Bengals pretty good fashion. They drew it a little bit closer late in the game, but it's a victory. And we have another victory in the bag, much better than the previous games. Even though Saunders still had 2 turnovers, it was much better than his 5 or 7 that he's been averaging lately. And let's view the breakout player. And they're going to give it to him just because they just didn't run the ball. Not quite sure how I feel about that. Wanham goes up to a superstar. Let me know in the comment sections if you believe that he earned this or if we should lower it back down to a star, because he really didn't do anything in that game and they ran the ball less than 5 times. And now we move to our second Lions game, Week 15. We're 11-2 on the season. The next up in the NFC North is 8-5 with the Packers, who finally had their bye week, so they're now tied with the Bears, except they've probably won some games against the Bears, which is why they're still second. But make sure you continue to watch this season as we are closing in to the end of this regular season. Have 3 more NFC North matchups left and a Raiders matchup before we hit the postseason, where we could hopefully try to get another Super Bowl victory, defend our first victory last season. But yeah, make sure you're sticking around. Hit that subscription button down below, bell notification to be notified. Follow me on Twitter, BigBearB_gaming. Be notified also of when I post these and just all the other sports content that I tweet on there. But yeah, and we have some interesting news that will come once we get to the postseason about the next series that we will bring on alongside this one. So make sure you're staying tuned, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.